We're cutting bonuses for non-essential staff. The CEO barely looked up from the paper as he said it. People nodded. Some stared at the table. Others quietly packed their bags. Then, he looked directly at me. No exceptions. I calmly reached into my briefcase, placed one document on the conference table, and said, I think legal should read page 14 out loud. 30 seconds later, nobody in that room wanted to fire me anymore. For 9 years, I had never missed a deadline. I worked weekends without complaints, fixed million-dollar problems before they became disasters, trained new managers, and saved projects everyone else had already given up on. Yet the morning the company announced budget cuts, none of that mattered. The CEO stood in front of hundreds of employees and declared that bonuses for non-essential staff were eliminated immediately. A few minutes later, I received an email. My annual performance bonus was canceled. An hour later, HR scheduled another meeting. They thanked me for my service, called the decision a business necessity, and slid a termination letter across the table. Everyone expected me to argue. Instead, I smiled. I opened my bag and removed the employment contract I had signed years earlier. Most people never read every page of a contract. I had hidden inside one clause was a provision negotiated when the company desperately wanted me to join. If I was ever terminated without documented cause, I would receive 12% of the company's audited net profit for that fiscal year. Not revenue, profit. Nobody in HR had noticed. Neither had the executives. The room suddenly became very quiet. The HR director called Lego. 5 minutes later, 3 attorneys entered carrying laptops and company records. One attorney carefully read the clause. Then another checked the signatures. Finally, the senior lawyer slowly closed the file. It's valid. Nobody spoke. The CEO's confident smile disappeared. Someone whispered, How much is 12%? The finance director typed numbers into a calculator. His face turned pale. The amount was larger than the entire bonus budget they had just canceled. Suddenly, everyone wanted a private discussion. The company offered to reverse my termination immediately. I declined. Then they offered my old position back with a higher salary. I declined again. Hours passed. Lawyers moved between offices carrying folders. Executives stopped making eye contact. By evening, they returned with a settlement agreement. It included every unpaid bonus, severance, legal costs, retirement contributions, unused vacation, and an additional payment to avoid a lengthy court battle. The total exceeded anything I had expected. I signed only after every number matched the contract. A week later, former coworkers called to tell me something surprising. The company had rewritten every executive employment agreement. Mandatory legal reviews became company policy. Managers were required to read contracts before approving terminations. Apparently, my case had become part of their leadership training. Months later, I started consulting for another business. Ironically, they hired me because of one sentence they had heard about the previous company. He reads every contract before signing. That reputation became worth far more than the settlement itself. The people who once called me non-essential accidentally proved exactly how valuable careful preparation can be. People think success comes from shouting louder than everyone else. Sometimes it comes from staying calm while everyone else panics. The loudest moment in that boardroom wasn't an argument. It was the silence after Lego finished reading one forgotten paragraph. Never underestimate the power of reading what everyone else ignores.